Hello. Hello. Let's go to an audio test. That sounds pretty good to me. Cool. Let's crack straight on then. This one. Hello. Hello and welcome back to GVL PowerWash Simulator. I am Gary and Reva. We are continuing with the career. We're about, looks like, just over 3/4 of the way through. And I was 70% done cleaning the Ferris wheel at the end of the last stream. So I will just continue with that. Hey, Drake. Oh, yeah. So I wrote keep it clean on the generator, which I'll come back to. Also got to do the wiring. Actually, I could probably do the wiring. Cool. So I did all of this. I did the ground floor. I was doing these. Right, let's stop that there. Missed a fair bit inside. Nice. How are people doing anyway? You doing okay? I've had another one of those weird days where I get up like an hour before the stream because I was up until like 8 AM because my sleep schedule is all messed up. But if I get my work done and I socialize as I need to, I guess there's nothing to complain about. Pretty much fully recovered from my sickness from the weekend. I'm glad to hear that. Have I been cleaning the underside of these? No. Oh, I thought I cleaned that one. Oh no, I cleaned the front of that one. Nice. Thinking of getting burgers. You know, I used to live near the best like burger van ever. Because I'm not a big sort of fast food person. I don't generally make a habit of it. It's the only times I'll generally get it is if I just feel like treating myself, or if I can't be bothered to cook, which is not often on either count. But where I used to live, where Kuvac was, there was this burger van. And it was like, I mean, it was 10 minutes away, but it's still, you know, close enough. So I'd occasionally like cycle over there and get a burger. And the burgers were just so good. So much so that when I was moving out of Kuvac, like my final meal in the area was at that burger van. Just because it was so good. My town sadly has no burger food trucks. We do have pulled pork. Oh, pulled pork's not bad. Their stuff's really good. Nice. Yeah, pulled pork's nice. Did I already get the Ferris wheel achievement? I did. Ride around the big wheel with a gnome. Yeah, I did that already. Oops. Yeah, I saw myself falling off that. I haven't pinged that yet, have I? Dinged that. Hey Pisces, won't be able to chat, but it's nice to join, even if it'll be mostly a podcast. Yeah, that's what a couple of people watch this for. It's like the ASMR of the water, and just the odd comment from me. So yeah, that's perfectly valid. Thanks for joining for that. What am I missing here? Neither of these spokes have dinged, and I don't know why. Nice. Alright, where have I gone wrong with this? Why is this not dinged? Oh, it's because it's the rear spoke is the vertical thing, not this bottom bit. Damn. That explains it. Alright, let's keep this thing moving. Just the inside of this one, cool. Nice. Nice. Is that frame done as well? It is. Alright. Keep it moving. Are there any pods I haven't done yet? No, I've done all 8 pods. There are 2 pod frames, but I am going to have to start climbing up this thing. Frame and frame. Frame and frame. Actually, let's stop it here. Because I've got a good view of this side.
Cracky view of the volcano from the top of the wheel, ain't it?
Can't say I've looked.
Especially when it's smoking like it is right now.
What, the Ferris wheel or the volcano?
It's supposed to do that, yeah?
Well, yeah, it's a volcano. Or a Ferris wheel, whichever one you're talking about. Ferris wheel, not supposed to smoke. Volcano, supposed to smoke. Science. Look over there on the right with the shadow, like, disappearing and appearing. Alright, continue. It might be time I start climbing the outside, actually. Where is my scaffold? There it is. Nice. Front star is done. Okay, let's do what remains of the front spokes. That one's done. That one is not. That one's done. That one's done. That one is not. I assume it's the inside one of that one. Oh. Sorry, one moment. That one's done. That one's not. That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. How many are there? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's very hard to tell, isn't it? All right, from the red and yellow one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Okay, so front spokes. 7 of 8. So there's one I'm missing. No. 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 Yes. Yeah, I assume it's the inside line of that one. Ooh. Now this feels very Super Mario. There, nice. Sorry if you can hear the helicopter passing overhead. Decided to mix it up from the usual plane, you know. Nice, that's done. That's at the back. Whoop. Flawless. Star side panels. Star side panels, all 8. Nice. Hey, Max. Rear beam, no. Front. Front stuff. Front outer beam, 6 of 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one and that one. Would be those 2 down there, wouldn't it? Ooh, missed that jump. One more. That one. Nice. A-frame supports, 1 of 4. A-frame support 1. Right, so it's these 3 I haven't done. Jump off. All the way up there by the look of it. Hey, Luca. Nice. And at the back. One. Two. Let's get the scaffold at the back now. Scaffold at the back, but turn it around. Central shaft. Oh, God. Sorry. Just walked straight off there. Did not mean to. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, I just lightly touch the forward key and it's just zoomed straight off the edge. rear spoke. Yep. Rear outer beam. That one. Still quite a bit left on it. Which one is it? That one. Nice. Generator, post, and star support pole. Which is this center thing. Right there. There's one. One. Ooh. That one's fine. Should probably work my way backwards. That's the sensible way to do it. Ooh. Ooh. That one needs doing. There's two. Ooh. Ah! I'm okay. It's giving me Gang Beast flashbacks. That was my favorite level on Gang Beasts. The Ferris wheel level. I'd spend hours just sort of climbing around it. It was very fun. Yeah, I streamed it once. I didn't play a lot with other people. I mostly played by myself. Just messing about on the Ferris wheel and such. There are just the 8 on there. Star support poles, yeah. So it's got to be the next one. It's got to be the next one. Okay, it's got to be the next one. Oh, bugger. Yeah, it was years ago I streamed Gang Beasts. Before I started doing it properly, like for a partner and such. I started playing Case of the Golden Idol. Oh, I've heard of that. Is that... I think someone mentioned that on the Discord. Aha, found it. Good. Nice. Post. What's the post? Post. Post. Holy crap, it's right there. Nice. Leaving just the generator. Spraying down an active generator. That seems dangerous. Oh, you were the one who mentioned it. Keep it clean. Job done. Ooh, achievement unlocked superstar. Get 150 gold stars. Oh, it's cool that it keeps stopping it when I stop it. Very nice.
The Ferris wheel is roasting. You're a legend. Just in the nick of time, too. With the rave generator blown, we've had to stick with the original one, and the classic vibe of the artwork really fits with the slower pace. Techno Ferris wheel was probably a terrible idea anyway, so I'm turning my attention to Crackers Keith, the world's first techno caterpillar roller coaster. Alright. Subway platform. Ah, 2,000 for an indoor job. Is there anything I can buy? Got. Got that now. Cool. Soap. Clothing. Got all of that. Modifications. Oh, yes. Let's try this one. Wow, 1,000 for this. Damn. Bit ostentatious, but sure. Alright, on to the next job. Commissioner Baryonyx. Owing to the steady reputational rise of Buckingham, Caldera City Transportation Network is excited to announce the reopening of its subway links to the vibrant town. We'd like you to deep clean the platform area ahead of the grand unveiling. Please note that whilst most of the graffiti in the facility could be said to possess artistic merit, we would like you to remove it all. You got it, Commissioner. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this job. What is the achievement for this one? Let us check. Because I'm fairly sure there is one. Subway platform. Complete the advertising boards first. Advertising boards. That's a train schedule board. Subway map. Platform screen. Subway map. Advertising boards. Oh, those things. Right. Any down this end? This one. Perhaps you would like some interesting statistics on our railway systems whilst you work. No. Jeff Jefferson the 12th, 1984. The political advert is sponsored by Jeff Jefferson the 12th, 1984 election campaign fund. Jeff Jefferson would like to make it clear that he is talking metaphorically about cleaning up the city and there's no intention of getting on this expensive tailored knees and scrubbing the city or any kind of manual labour. Sorry, there's a plane passing overhead. I'm just going to mute. City Stadium Caldera Tour. I like that this advert has a your ad here part. Bloody hell, does every single advert in this place have 1984 written on it? Are they trying to make a point?
Driving me nuts. Oh, Esther Death. Huh. That's the car I cleaned earlier. That's funny. Oh, it's a subway passing by somewhere else. God, that freaked me out for a sec. Thought it was a ghost. Would the 25 do the job? Yeah, roughly. No, not quite. Kevin Bernard's Fun Fair. I really feel like they're trying to make a point with these ads, but I'm not entirely sure what. Are they just repeated on this side? I think they are. How odd. Catman. Meow, 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 meow. Two left. Fun Fair, and yeah, they are the same four. Last one. The achievement should ding after this. Oh, it's a giant monster. Oh no. Does anyone here watch, I believe they're called long plays on YouTube? And if I'm not mistaken, long plays are like full playthroughs of games without commentary or with little to no commentary. Yay! Blast from the past, achievement unlocked. Right, now I can get on with it. Start at one place and just work my way. Let's do the writing first. You're watching one for Dip on Your Doomsday. I don't know why you do that to yourself. Curiosity, I guess. Nice. Right, let's start at one end and just work me way along the train station. The subway station. Alright, I don't know if this is going to do the job right. Subway station. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Yeah. cable. That is a different thing at the bottom. Oh yeah, I have a story I can tell. While I'm just doing this, the cable dinged, didn't it? I'll just finish doing along the edge to the bottom. Yeah, I have a story I can tell. My parents recently looked into getting solar panels put in, and it reminded me of something that happened shortly after I moved into my house. Because they were saying, oh yeah, the guy who's coming has got us booked in for an hour-and-a-half long slot to talk about this, and it's like, whoa, that's setting off alarm bells. When I moved into Kuvak, I was living next to a busy road, so in order to deal with the noise from the traffic, I had to get a soundproof window put into my office. So I talked about it at the time. This was I moved in October, and this was in moved in November. Sorry, this was in November as well, 2019. And I got the window put in like February. Anyway, in November 2019, I was trying to find someone to do this window for me. So I got a couple of quotes, and the first guy came round to look at the window, or where I wanted the window, which was like replacing an existing window. He measures it up using like a laser device. We have a bit of a chat about what exactly I want. A little bit of a chat about why I want it, and like, I make videos and so on. It's like, oh, that's really interesting, and we had a nice chat about that. And then the guy left, and it was all done within 15 minutes. And I also wanted to get a quote from someone else. It's good to get multiple quotes before you settle on one. So I was booked in to be visited by a representative of Everest, who are a big famous company in the UK that I'd never heard of, who do windows and doors and stuff. So I was booked in for them, and when he arrives, I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be like the other guy. He'll see the window, we'll have a quick chat about what I want, and then he'll be on his way. It was not. You see, because I expected it to be so quick, I answered the door in my pajamas. And they're decent pajamas. They're not like tatty or revealing or anything like that. But still, I was in pajamas. And he comes in. And he says, is there somewhere we can sit and talk? And it's like, yeah, there's the kitchen. So we go through to the kitchen. And he goes, okay, I've got a presentation for you. And it's like, well, I don't really need to see a presentation. It's like, yes, it's part of the job. I've got to give you a presentation so you know what you're dealing with here. and so launched in to the longest sales pitch I have ever seen, the most redundant sales pitch I've ever seen. Where he talked to me about Windows. And I'm not just talking about like, oh yeah, so this is what we do for an acoustic window, this is how they work. It was, do you know the history of windows and insulation? No, I don't. Allow me to tell you. I'd really rather you not. Yeah, I've got to tell you this stuff. You know, it's part of the job, part of the presentation. I get told off if I don't. So here is an example of a glazed window, and he hands me a big chunk of plastic, and it's like, look, man, I just want you to measure the window. And he goes, no, don't worry, this won't take long. I'll give you the short version. Watch this advert on my computer about our company. And it's like, really? Yep. You have to watch the advert. So I had to watch a 10-minute advert about the history of Everest as a company. Just a guy walking through the Scottish Highlands being like, oh yes, windows are very important. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? So I watched the advert, and then he says, all right, well, I've got a little brochure here for you containing the history of Everest. You've just watched the advert, and you're a smart guy, so I'm not going to bother going through it all. At which point he proceeded to go through it all. It's like, well, the company was founded in this. And it's like, yes, I know this. I've just seen it in the advert that you made me watch. And then what was the next bit? Then there was like a Q&A section, as in he would ask me questions and I would have to answer with the answer he wanted, or he wouldn't drop it. So like, for example, oops, didn't mean to do that. For example, he'd say, we can reduce, our company has all of these awards. Don't you think that's a good thing? And then he'd just sit there expectantly, and it's like, yes? I'm glad you agree. It's like, stop making it seem like I am siding with you. You're asking a very leading question and then waiting for me to say yes. That's not me answering your frickin' questions, and it's not me showing support for your frickin' company. Why am I stuck? So he continued on, and like, oh, we can reduce noise coming through your window by 25%. Don't you think that's a good number? Yes, I'm glad you agree. So this went on for an hour and a half of me in my pajamas, my expression getting increasingly sour as I was forced to listen to this extended sales pitch. And then we finally get to the end of it, and he goes, okay, well, I'm just going to run the numbers on how much this will be. So he goes through the numbers, and it came to about 3 times the amount the other guy quoted. And as soon as I find that out, I say, okay, thank you, I can't afford that. Oh, well, maybe if we reduce it by a couple of hundred. And it's like, no, that is an absurd price. Thank you for your time, but I'm going to go now. And do you want to know what makes this worse? Like, the absurdly high price is a bad thing. You want to know what makes it horrendous? This was on my birthday. This was on the 16th of November, 2019. It was my birthday. That's part of why I was in pajamas. So, I spent an hour and a half on my goddamn birthday listening to a guy explain to me all the ways his company is amazing before proceeding to say, by the way, we're going to charge you 3 times what comparable companies will charge. And that is why I now have a rule.
I will never listen to another pitch like that again. If someone starts in with that sort of thing, I'm going to ask them to leave. I don't care what they're offering. I don't care what their company is. If you force someone to listen to that pitch, when someone has invited you to their house because they want to hire you, do not make them watch an advert. You've already bloody advertised to me. I've called you. Get on with your bloody job. And if anyone ever tries to make me sit through in one of those, I will send them out of the house and I'll find someone else. And that is a story of one of the most frustrating, mornings of my life, and it was on my birthday. That kind of presentation, I knew a guy in my college art class who did something like that for the class. I fell asleep during important history. How did you survive this? As a graphic designer, I had the opposite drilled into you. You want to make sales, you make the presentation short but catchy. I think the reason they get away with it, in inverted commas, is because Everest is a very famous company. When you're that big and that famous, and you have all of these awards, then that becomes such a large part of your pitch. You don't need to win people over, because look at all of the awards you have. Look at how good everyone says you are. We don't need to convince you we're good. Just need to convince you we're worth it. And they failed. They should be thanking you for your time. Yeah, the guy, he had this, fake friendly vibe about him. I think James was his name. I absolutely hate any time someone's like, don't you agree with that thing I just said? Because it's such a leading question. It does actually remind me, while I'm ranting about bad service, similarly, early on after moving to Kuvak, I was getting a new new carpet put in my lounge, because it had a hard floor and I didn't like it. So I was to get the carpet put in, I had to go to a carpet store. It doesn't matter which one for the story. But it was quite out of the way, so I had to get a taxi there. So, I ordered the taxi using a local taxi company that I've been using sort of for years, basically. And I got there just fine. I told them where I needed to go. They were like, yeah, we can get you there easy. So they take me to the carpet shop. I have my meeting, and then after I'm done at the carpet shop, I call up the taxi company to get a lift back. And it's like, yeah, and he goes, the guy on the phone goes, are we picking you up from where we dropped you off? And it's like, yes, please. So I wait for the taxi to arrive, and he doesn't show up. And I get a phone call from the driver, and he's like, where are you? So, well, I'm where I got dropped off. I'm outside the carpet shop. Well, where's that? And it's like, it's in this retail park. Where's that? And it's like, look, man, you're the driver. This is where I got dropped off. Here is the postcode. This is where I got dropped off. So I don't know where that is. So, okay. I don't know what you want me to say here, man. This is literally where I got dropped off. The other driver knew where this was. And he goes, what can you see? And it's like, well, there's a McDonald's. Oh, yeah, I know the McDonald's. And he picked me up from the McDonald's. And when I got in, he's like, why did you say the carpet shop? What? I know where the McDonald's is. Why didn't you say McDonald's? It's like, I don't know what you bloody know where it is. But, of course, I didn't say that because I still needed him to drive me. So I was like, I just said nothing. And he's like, can you see why that would be really annoying for me? Can you? And it's like, I refuse, I didn't say anything. It's like, you can see why that's annoying, right? At which point he, like, basically stops the car and turns and looks at me. It's like, you can see why that's annoying, right? Yes? Good. At which point he began driving again. He refused to take me until I accepted bloody fault for him not knowing where the hell I was. Oh. Sorry. Yeah. I had to get that off my chest. Where was I in the thing? That reminds me of a railroady conversation in an RPG. Oh, hey, Chuck, bro, yeah. How do they make sales? Yeah, like I said, they're big companies, so... as a designer, I was drilled into making everything short and sweet. An ad should be just long enough and showy enough to get what you once said fast. You're a lot more patient than me. Yeah. I mean, I have a bit of a problem of people pleasing. I didn't want to be rude to the guy who was in my kitchen ruining my birthday. But I'm not going to make that mistake again. Likely famous for the same reason Optimum is famous, low competition. I don't know what Optimum is, I'm afraid, but, like, Everest is supposed to be very good, and I expect it would have been very, very good. But triple the price and wasting my time just soured any opinion I have of the company. Are you in a different house to your own now? Yes, I have moved back in with my parents for now. I'm just currently between houses. I didn't actually talk about what was wrong with my house, did I? I never did that video. I kept wanting to do a video, but I thought, I'm just going to leave it a little bit longer, and then I just didn't talk about it. I don't think I'm going to do a proper video on it now, but essentially, terrible neighbours. The neighbours I had were horrendously bad people. And I couldn't bear living near them. Because I'm okay saying this now. Now that I moved out, I lived in a semi-detached house, and the people in the other half of the semi, yeah, they were very noisy and incredibly rude. So anytime they were noisy, I got the council involved to do with the noise, and it soured any relationship. Like, I did try and talk to them first, obviously. I don't want to go too much into this, frankly. It's something that I find very stressful even now. But, I'd try and go around and talk to them, and they tell me to F off. And I try, and it's like, look, can you just be a bit quiet? And they're like, oh, call the council on us then. And it's like, okay then. And then afterwards, I can't believe you called the council on us. You fucking told me to, you idiot. But yeah. So, 3 years in that house was long enough for me to know never to buy another semi-detached. But yeah, anyway. Enough about stressful things. Bloody heart rates increase just talking about this stuff. This is going to be a big job, isn't it? Yeah, the house did need a lot of fixing up, but that would have been fine if I'd been happy there, but I wasn't. I was going to do a full video on this because I wanted to talk about the emotional and physical side effects that still plague me. Alright, I'll give an example of that. But then we'll move on, and I might talk about it another day, I don't know. I am terrified of the doorbell now. Like, the doorbell goes, and I low-key panic. Because if the doorbell went at Kuvak, what it probably meant was the neighbour coming round to have a go at me. Whether that was because they didn't like my hedge, or because something had gone over, like one of their children had thrown something over the fence and it was my duty to get it back. Or they were just coming round to have a go at me. So, like, I became so paranoid about the doorbell that even now, like I've moved out like 6 months ago, even now the doorbell sends me into fight or flight. And I hate that, and it's because of those pricks. So, like, the number of psychological issues I got living next to people who made me feel scared in my own home, made me, well, not scared, but unsafe. I didn't feel comfortable, because they were like, it was like a married couple, and the husband was like this really large, bald man who had absolutely no problem standing in my doorway and shouting and swearing at me. So that's that's why I had to move. It was a problem with the house in that the house was attached to the house that belonged to massive pricks. But if it wasn't, I mean, this wasn't a great house overall. It was my first house, so that's, you know, almost to be expected. But I could have lived with it if it wasn't for the neighbours. But yeah. So you can see why I want to talk about this stuff, but at the same time I really don't. I just find it so stressful. And, like, part of me thinks, you know, grow up, Garen. You can't be scared of answering the door because someone is rude to you. But at the same time, it's, like, on your own, miles away from family, and... Oh, didn't mean to do that. Yeah. It has an effect on you, and it really had an effect on me. I was very unhappy there. I've got a similar problem now. I tend to see myself as the problem whenever I run into a conflict. I'm really sorry to hear that. You're probably not the issue. Like, I don't think I was the issue. I do think I am abnormally sensitive to sound issues, both because of my job and I also seem to have, like, quite sensitive hearing for little noises that no one else can hear, that don't bother anyone else. Like, I'll be standing in our kitchen here, and it's like I'll be talking to someone in the kitchen, and it's like, do you mind if we move somewhere else because the buzzing sound from the oven is irritating me? And they go, what buzzing sound? And it's like, well, listen, you know, come over here and listen to the oven, and they'll, like, have their ear right next to it, and it's like, oh yeah, there is a buzzing sound. But I'm like picking it up from further away, and it's bothering me. Growing up is a way to create mental health issues, not to stop them. Yeah. So, in these things, like, I don't think I was blameless regarding my neighbours, but at the same time, as I see it, I tried the nice way. I tried to offer a compromise, and they refused. So, anything after that is on their own, you know, off their own back. Noise sensitivity, yeah. I want to get it properly sort of diagnosed, like whether it's something called misophonia, which means you get irrationally angry at certain noise triggers. Like snoring makes me so angry. Just the sound of snoring. The semi-detached house, whenever they'd make a noise, like if they'd whack something or tap something, I'd hear it as a thud in my house, and that began to make me irrationally angry as well. Oh, bloody hell. This is a big job. So, like, I am aware that there are contributing things from the way I am and the way I perceive sound and noise. I understand having sounds is a big issue. I'm also very sensitive in that area. When I hear certain pitches, I get a headache. Also, if I hear certain sounds like chewing in some rooms, it's a way to make me feel horribly ill. Yes, clicking and chewing sounds. Yeah, that's... Chewing sounds are one of the apparently the most common things for misophonia. It could just be ordinary noise sensitivity that I've got. I really don't know. I've tried to get this stuff diagnosed, but of course when I sort of became aware of this as a possible thing, it was the height of COVID. So, like, I don't want to overload the already busy NHS by saying, hey, I know there's a pandemic, but like, I get annoyed at noises, can you help? It just didn't seem important enough. And now we've got such a massive backlog that I was booked in for a hospital appointment to like see to my nose, because I've got like a broken nose. And like to talk to somebody about that, and it was no joke about 10 or 11 months between making the appointment and them saying, all right, well, here's the appointment, during which time I'd moved house, so I was unable to attend. Hi there, I would ask if you would clean my caravan, but I already know what your answer is. The answer is yes, the uncanny Franny.
Caldera City's subway system was built using over 60 million bricks. If you were to pile them up top to tail, they would extend a staggering 2,137 miles into the Earth's atmosphere. That's only a tantalizing 236,718 miles short of the moon.
Dripping sounds, I understand. Oh yeah, read that one. Same for me. This is the first time I'm learning about this, so I might have that then. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you don't even think is a thing. Like, I found about misophonia from film theory, like Matt Patton film theory, because he was talking about the Grinch, and it's like describing the Grinch's reactions to stuff, and it's like, but I have similar reactions to sounds. And it's like, this is misophonia, and he knows about it because his wife has it. And it's like, yeah, that sounds a lot like what I may have. You threw me off with the reading. I thought that was part of your story. I'm sorry. I just got distracted by the text. So I've forgotten where I was now. I'm sorry, I got distracted and I've lost the track of my story. Sound sensitivity. The other thing I was going to say about sound sensitivity is, you know, in PokéSins, anytime Victory Bell screams and I go, that scream, it's not every single time Victory Bell screams, it's just if it genuinely makes me flinch. And it's possible that that happens because of noise sensitivity. Like, it hits that, like someone else said, it hits that pitch, and it just makes me shiver. And that's why Victory Bell gets so many in mine, and because the guy who does PokéSins has sound sensitivity. And probably tinnitus too, for the record. That's another one that I've been waiting a bloody year to get an appointment. Good news, I get to join your stream without driving. Bad news is because I work a grave tonight. I assume you mean a graveyard shift and not you are working in a grave. Oh, wait, these are done by bloody floor sections? Oh no, large floor sections, half and half. Yep, that makes sense. So yeah, I can be very sensitive to sounds, and like when I'm recording, I get very paranoid because if I can hear it, it's like, but what if someone else can? Stuff like the planes, like I have numerous comments being like, I can't hear any of the planes. I mean, obviously I can hear the planes a lot better because, you know, I'm here and I've got a directional microphone pointed away from where the plane is, and I don't quite know what it can or can't pick up. But there are so many sounds that I can hear quite clearly and just makes me very nervous that you guys can too. Oops. I don't relate on that specific one, but in school when the teacher would use the whiteboard pens on normal paper, I always physically covered my ears because it hurt me to hear. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, apparently I missed quite a bit here. Nice. Ding ding. Dragging chairs on concrete. I can't say I've heard that one enough to know. For me, the big things that trigger are snoring, nose blowing. Absolutely hate the sound of nose blowing. The thudding from my neighbour when I lived in a semi-detached, which of course hasn't been a problem since I moved out. And like the stomach rumbling sounds in Pokemon, that's another big one. Food chewing. Yeah, the sound of people eating sort of gets me more and more these days. But yeah, that's basically it for me for triggers. Scraping sounds. I can't say I've ever been, like, affected by scraping sounds. I'm sorry that you are. Suppose to an extent unique from person to person what affects you. Very much so, yes. From what I understand, it is a very personal thing. Some people, like going back to the MatPat thing, his wife Stephanie, it makes her like viscerally uncomfortable to hear the sound of people eating. For me, it's just that's unpleasant, and it just like makes me grimace when I hear it. But for her, it was like really making her freakishly uncomfortable. Not freakish as in you know what I mean, like unbearably uncomfortable. But that's only really been a thing for me in the last, I don't know, last few months, really. Getting worse. But with a lot of my things, like, it's so weird. I can sort of trace them to a starting point before which it wasn't an issue. So, like, nose blowing wasn't an issue until I was talking to a friend and she said that she hates it. And she, like, described how unpleasant she found nose blowing sounds, and it's like, you know what? I agree. And since then I've been viscerally uncomfortable of them, of nose blowing sounds as well. Snoring is when I went on a trip with my dad. We both stayed in the same hotel room, and he snored all night, and it freaked me out. Essentially, I couldn't, like, I mean, I say freaked me out like I was an adult, but I just couldn't bear it. I found it so unpleasant that I ended up spending like half the night in the bathroom with headphones on just so I didn't have to hear it. It was really very unpleasant night for me. And since then, I've not been able to hear it without getting sort of irrationally angry and upset. Swearing. Swearing in what way? Alright, let's do the door. It's funny how the dust basically just immediately stops at this line. Oh, right, you're swearing. Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. It got caught by shut up. Held a message for aggression. Allow. I have a story myself, a short one, but a story. During my first month of homelessness, another girl moved into the shelter. First night she was there, she took the bunk above mine and started to type. Her nails were long and clacked on her phone in a way that set off my issues. When I asked her to stop clicking as I was getting squirmy and grabbed on my pillow, she says, "I'm not clicking, so shut up," and kept going for a while. Yikes. It seems quite common that when people don't have these issues and don't have any experience with these issues, it's more often than not that they are completely unsympathetic. Like, they can't understand why you'd be bothered by this. And yeah, it can be very difficult when people think you're like making a big deal of nothing or making it up. But for you, it is a very real, very concerning issue that you just can't seem to overcome. Held a message for aggression. Yeah, she was aggressive. Ended up forming a kind of mean girl clique with someone who was kicked out after threatening to kick someone down the stairs. Bloody hell. I'm sorry to hear you went through that. There we go. Clean it, keep. I'll come back to this bit. Let's draw a line here. Actually, tactile platform. Yeah, let's do the tactile. Ah, nice in little sections. It's gonna blow my nose, hang on. That makes sense and seems fair enough. To be honest, they probably just physically wouldn't be able to understand the concept of it. Yeah, well, it's often the case with these things. Like anxiety and such are so hard to understand if you've never experienced them. And like I went through like 3 phones in the space of a month. I kept sending them back because using the phone, I'd hear a buzzing sound coming from it, and I ended up like sending them back because they were faulty. And I honestly have no idea if they were faulty or not. But I kept hearing this buzzing sound, and I ended up going for a different make of phone that didn't give a buzzing sound. What have I missed? No. Nice. This is understandable. I got an electric lighter for candles, but the sound of it hurt my ears, so I tossed it out. Small things that are so minuscule to others they really can't understand or even hear. Very much. Yeah. The things we have to deal with as individuals, you know? Things that other people just don't see, hear, understand. Like, it's really nice when someone isn't aware of it themselves, but still accepts it and says, you know, I don't hear that, but I understand that you do, and I'll do what I can to help, kind of thing. Sadly, it seems to be quite rare that people do take that attitude. Most people seem to be along the lines of, well, I don't hear it, so what's the problem? I once brought up how rain has a smell. Rain has a smell? Like, I know that rain kicks up smells. So it's not so much, I don't think the rain has a smell, but the rain causes smells to rise up. So, like the disturbing of the ground and the disturbing of the air causes different smells to permeate, but I'm not certain that rain itself has a smell. That might be it, but I guess there's always a lingering smell when there's rain. I've always assumed, and I could be wrong, just to preface, I could be wrong. I've always assumed that smell was like the effect of rain rather than the rain itself. Like it kicks stuff up and disturbs the air and causes the smells to be more noticeable. But they were, as I see it, they've always been there. But like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that in my experience that's not been the case, but at least in my perception of things. But perceptions are different, as we've been establishing, so you could very well be right. I always get hit by rain before it starts. Oh, are you just really tall, Luke? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not funny. I've never been a fan of tall jokes or short jokes or stuff like that. Not that I actually know anything about how tall or short Luca is, for the record. Okay, well, this bit's all done. Apart from that, I'll do the ceiling. This might be a time to use the soap nozzle. What is this then? Multi-purpose? Do I have any multi-purpose? I do not. Anyway, let's change the topic to something a bit lighter. We've had quite a lot of heavy and saddening and frustrating topics in today's chat. Not in today's chat, like I've been talking about them. But let's lighten up with something else. So, anyone got anything fun to talk about? Moving on. Hang on, I've closed the thing again. There it is, yep. Did you have something particular about cats? There, nice. Alright. Everything from here on is done. 35%. I've done a third of this. Oh. I think Restream is cut off from the YouTube. No, I don't think I want to talk about cats we've had in our lives, because that could very, very easily step over into sad again. Sorry, one moment, it's disconnected the Restream. Oh no, it's back again. Right, where am I going from here? Do the central bit, I think. Sometimes talking about frustrated things makes you less frustrated. Yes, I do find it helps a lot of the time, but at the same time, I just want to lighten stuff up a bit, you know? Favorite projects? Well, I'm still working on PowerWash. Added a 7th class, but I don't want to talk about that in too much detail here. Stick that to the Discord and devlogs. Actually, let's do the pillar. Infinite Dead, the teaser is out now, which is cool. I've been looking forward to releasing that. That's okay, it's a long-term project, so... Oh look, it's sunny outside. It's a long-term project, so you don't need to contribute every week. Of course, if anyone here would like to contribute to PowerWash, join the Discord, regular chats on there about stuff. Yeah, I actually need to record the first Infinite Dead session. Like I've released the teaser, but I haven't actually done any of the recordings yet. That's something I need to do probably in the next few days, just to get that ball rolling. And just in case there are any problems that I need to deal with. Nice. Making good progress on Platinum post-game, I think. I'm a few episodes ahead on Platinum and Potionomics. Actually, I'm about 2 weeks ahead. I'm a week or two ahead on both of those series, which is pretty cool. I like being ahead on my videos. The Demon Platinum will be slain and we'll get the best of the franchise, and you can get the best of the franchise. Oh, Gen 5, yes. I did really like Gen 5. I consider it third best generation, I think. Door isn't dinged yet. Sorry, I was doing the middle platform and I got distracted. What on earth are they? Like a giant monster and some little gem people. How odd. I wonder if that's a reference. Oh, I do have a far waste related thing that I can mention here. I'm going to be doing a story to go along with it. I don't know how long it'll be, whether it'll be like a full book length thing or whether it'll be a shorter like novella type thing or what, but I'm going to be writing stories set in the world of the Far Waste. And I've begun sort of work on that as well. Of course, like the idea is like a cross promotional thing. You know, the story will promote the game, and the game will promote the story. And it's a way for people to get a better picture of like, oh yeah, this is the kind of story you can tell in this world. And of course, how it goes will be heavily affected by the directions of the stuff. But essentially, the main characters in the story will be we're talking about a story that I'm writing to go along with Far Waste. The characters in the story or the main characters, will all be stuff. Like, they'll have abilities that you can replicate with the classes and stuff. So, like, each character from the main party it'll essentially, you know, like, you get stories where people write up their D&D campaigns as a story. It'll be like that, but for Far Waste. And it'll help me get a better idea of sort of how this would work in the story form, I guess. And I've already got some solid ideas about what I want to do with that. This is a very big job. I mean, I'm being paid 2,000 for it, so that's fair. Kind of want to know how long this takes me overall and then work out how much I got paid per hour for this. Nice. Do the columns. Construction began on the Muckingham to Caldera City branch line in 1920, funded by local businessman Wilberforce Thrust, who was keen to provide an efficient means of transporting his workforce from the city to his thriving cattle ranches. It was finally unveiled by Mayor Jeff Jefferson X, who tragically passed away the self-same day from an incident related to the state. Guess we'll never know. Guess we'll never know what killed Jeff Jefferson the 10th. Because they cannot help but write too much. Thanks for watching, Forrest. Catch you on the Discord. Baryonyx. Nice. That one dinged, didn't it? It did. And the event, yep. You know, that's probably one of my least favorite things from DC. The names of the cities. Like in Marvel, they are like real world cities. There's, you know, New York is the big one. But in DC, it's all something city. Like you get Gotham and Metropolis. I mean, but Metropolis barely counts because that's just a lazy name. But then it's like Central City, Star City, Coast City. And it's like, could you not have put in a little bit of creativity there? DC doesn't have actual city names. All of their stuff is something city. So, like, I think it's Green Lantern is from Coast City. The Flash is from Star City or Central City. You know, they're all of these just places. They're not location names. They're just something city. Fucking Planky City. How dare you? Clean it, keep. Alright, what am I doing now? I'm slowly working my way across, aren't I? Let's do the board here. So there's a Muckingham and a Washingham. That feels pointed and very lazy. To be fair, a lot of Marvel's set in New York City, isn't that place named after the same logic? Well, New York is named after is named that way because it was probably founded by people who used to live in the English city of York. Detective Comics are like 100 years old, but I agree with you. I can also see why the names are so silly. It's like a common issue people had with Games Workshop's old Warhammer world, like the old world, which is apparently coming back at some point, maybe in the future, possibly, if people dream and wish a lot. So many place names in that, and frankly, a lot of the inspiration of that, culture-wise, is just ripped straight from reality. So, like, the capital of the Empire in Warhammer is Altdorf, which is the name of a city in, I think, Germany. So it's not like, that's not a made-up name, that's just a real place. And I don't like that either. You know, if you're going to have a fantasy world, don't just take names straight from stuff. I do prefer it to, like, if they'd called it Empire City, you know, like in Infamous, or Mafia 2. I think both of those were Empire City. Although, no, I think Mafia 2 was Empire City. I think Infamous it was Empire Bay. Which is not much better. Well, the other way around, I don't know. One of them's Empire City and one of them's Empire Bay. It's just not very creative. Reminds me of you joking how you'd start a course on naming things. I believe it was creative onomatology. And I consider myself, like, jokingly a creative onomatologist. Because, yeah, I seem to have higher standards for naming things than most bloody publishers do. Fucking Planky Town. On the topic of Games Workshop, I found a couple of shops near me that sell Conquest models. I will be honest, I haven't thought about Conquest for a fair little while. The main reason is that they also started making incredibly uncreative decisions, and I'm not going through it all again. It's not hard to be creative. I mean, it is very hard to be creative, but you gotta put in the work anyway. And they're like the two things that sort of put me off, because like Conquest has some really creative things. Like it's got the spires, which are like insect clone bred elf people, and it's like that is a really cool idea. That is a twist no one's ever done before. But then they also... Do you know what the world of Conquest is called? Air, which is E umlaut A. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting name. Until you find out Air, E umlaut A, is the name of the world that Middle-earth is in. Lord of the Rings is set in Air. That is the name of the world. So, for their fantasy world, they ripped a name straight from one of the most popular fantasy IPs in the world. And like they were doing a thing. It's like, oh, what faction should we add next? And one of the factions was the Summer Courts, which were like I don't know whether they were wood elves. I didn't look into them much. I think they were like fairies and such. And it's like, I mean, Summer Court, frankly, not a particularly original idea. D&D's done it, and several other things. The people who would have ruled the Summer Court were Oberon and Titania. And it's like, that's fucking Shakespeare. You're just ripping that off from Shakespeare now. So already, like, we're barely into this as an IP, and already you're ripping off Shakespeare and Lord of the Rings. And it's like, if this is what they're doing now, what are they going to do when they run out of ideas? So, like, it really ruined my enthusiasm for that. Now what? Middle bit. What's that? Milkshake. Yeah, milkshake. I kind of feel that if there was a milkshake spilled down here, it wouldn't be pink. It would be bloody growing. Sounds like finding a good miniature game is pretty hard. Yeah, like the models for Conquest are still very good. And the things that they do come up with, like the Wadrun, which are based on orcs, but they're not called orcs. And they're like dinosaurs and so on. That's, again, a really creative idea. And for their, like, they've got a Roman faction, like a Roman undead robot thing. And that is also, like, an interesting combination that we've not seen before. Like, I would have preferred if they weren't just straight up Romans or Greeks or whatever they are. But I think they're Greek, actually, rather than Roman. But still an interesting combination of things. But yeah, then they just have really uncreative ones as well. And just place them alongside them as if they're equal. Doesn't bode well. Maybe it was recent. Maybe what was recent, sorry. Oh, the summer court thing. Oh, the milkshake, right. Yes, that makes more sense. Yeah, I think the milkshake would have to be recent. Sorry, there's quite a delay on the YouTube stream compared to the Twitch one, so I apologize. Just a little confusion from stream lag. Well, I don't want you to stay quiet, Luca. I just might need reminding what specifically you're talking about or referring to sometimes. Of the model games that exist, which ones would you recommend? None. Like, I've not found one that I really like. I thought Conquest would be it, then I got discouraged by their lack of creativity around some areas. Warhammer Fantasy is still quietly shitting itself. Warhammer 40k, I don't like the direction the models have gone. And frankly, they're the only model systems I really have any experience with. I've never tried any of the others. What's wrong with the sci-fi ones? Well, Warhammer 40k... I don't like the design of the models. Games Workshop, and this, to be honest, is the case with Fantasy as well. But I don't care about Fantasy at the moment with what they're doing with Age of Sigmar. But because Games Workshop can now do really spindly plastic, that's all models are. Like, they're only doing giant models with spindly bits of plastic on them. And it makes them virtually impossible to transport and really awkward to paint and not fantastic to look at either. So, as I see it, that's a failing on all three bloody reasons for collecting this stuff. And I know lots of people disagree with me. They really like the direction the models have gone and blah, 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 blah. I don't, so I can't recommend them, I'm afraid. Sparkleton, seriously? My god. Muckingham, Pumpton, Detergento, Power Falls, Fumarole, Scoria, La Harlem, Caldera City, Basaltimore, Washingham, Bucketon, Spongeley, Lubery City, Moppingham, just sprayers, Blemishigan, Suds, East and Sparkleton. My god. So, do you like or dislike punny names? I don't love it, I'll be honest. Oh, stretching. Right. Next bench. Nice. Bench is done. Oh, I still got to do the ceiling of this bit. Damn. Oh, stretching. Just got back from spending some sanity. Turns out the stationary security service mode got a new map. What stationary security service? I love subway aesthetics. Might be because I live in Florida and digging a foot down leads to water, so we lack underground structures. I also kind of like subway aesthetics. Like the clean tiles and so on does sort of appeal. It's like the shining tiles and such. There we go. Middle of the bit. This bit's done. Let's do this side now. What's SSS in Arknights? I probably know what you mean, Luca. I just can't picture it right now. What's SSS? I think I will finish off the platform bit and then call it a day. A little bit early, but I'm yawning, and it's because like I said, I got up an hour before the stream after going to bed at like 8 AM. So I am a little tired. Might try and do a bit of the ceiling as well. We'll see. Sorry, heard a weird noise outside. Is that the first column? It is. Sorry. Do you ever have like micro dreams? Like when you're awake and you're doing stuff and then like you're fairly sure you fell asleep for a split second, and when sort of you open your eyes again, you've got some sort of weird image or word in your head? Because I think I literally just fell asleep while I was doing this, and just muscle memory kept me playing. Because I suddenly got... This is going to sound so crazy. In my head, I suddenly got the words, "Why would you tell the ghouls first?" And it's like, what the fuck, Karen? Because I think I very, very briefly had a dream about Fallout. And in that, like, there were some ghouls and there were some, I don't know, non-ghouls, I guess. And they were working together, and there was some good news relating to a non-ghoul, and whoever it was told the ghouls before they told the non-ghouls. And one of the characters said, "Why did you tell the ghouls first?" And I then, when I woke up again, split seconds after falling asleep, perhaps, that was the phrase, like, on the edge of my tongue. Weird. Very nearly done. For the day, that is. Not the job. The job's still less than 60% done. Alright. So I still need to do the ceilings. And then this side of the tunnel. But I think that is it for today, because when you fall asleep midstream, ooh, that's the side to stop. I've done that while driving before. Jesus, that sounds really, really, really dangerous. Damn. I've done that while driving in a game before, but but never while driving a vehicle. Anyway, don't sleep and drive, guys. It's a face. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with a more PowerWash Simulator probably Tuesday. Subscribe, follow, pledge, join the Discord, all of that good stuff. And yeah, if you're affected by anything we talked about today, let me know in the comments. You know, if you have any experience or knowledge of any of these things, let us know. And in case you thought you were the only one, you're not alone. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later. That face. Bye bye.